So you need a lot of cash to be able to start and grow a business like that. My dump trucks, my Bobcats, my backhoes, I could spend $200,000 just on one piece of equipment. And if you want to grow that kind of business, you need a lot of inventory. There are a lot of fixed costs, a lot of overhead. So I learned, right from the start that your personal savings when you're trying to start a business or investing will only get you so far. And some people say, well, Tom, I understand that, so I plan on growing my business from cash flow. And I say, well, that's great. I appreciate that, but the joke that we had at my dinner table every night was I said, cash flow, what cash flow? We're eating all the cash flow. Every month, all the money that the business makes, goes to pay our bills, pay the rent, and put clothes on our back. So, truly, there needs to be a better way if you want to successfully start and grow a company than traditional bootstrapping that people are accustomed to thinking about and doing. And when I look back and think about what got me started always being in business for myself, I realized it was because my grandparents had a great influence on my life. They taught me what I guess I call today good old-fashioned values. They taught me things like work hard, save your money, put as big a down payment down on a piece of real estate as you can afford to. They would say never pay somebody else to do work that you can do yourself. So they had very good values, but I do consider now those to be things that that aren't necessarily applicable in the modern world we live in. Brad, you mentioned some of our mentors. You and I were fortunate enough to be trained by some of the best business minds I've ever met, Robert Allen, Mark Victor Hansen. And so I was able to compare. We traveled around the world with these great business minds, and I was able to compare the things that were working in today's environment against the things that my grandparents had taught me that were working in the past. And I realized that there was a better way. I realized that leverage is a lot better than just hard work. And so from that experience that we had, Brad, in being trained exclusively by Mark and Bob, I looked at my business and I said, what else can I do? There's got to be a better way for me to really get what it is I want, which is financial freedom, than simply running a home-based business. And so I started to look around, and I noticed the thing that all of your students on this training program have noticed. That's why they're here: real estate. I could see once I started to read about it that real estate was something that has always worked. It works all over the world, and it's going to continue to work for one simple reason: the law of supply and demand. So, no matter what the Fed does, no matter what happens to interest rates, interest rates not that long ago were upwards of 20%, and people were still making money investing in real estate. So the real thing that drives, real estate wealth is the fact that the population keeps increasing, keeps putting pressure on the inventory of housing. The joke is they can't make any more land, and they really can't. There's only so much real estate that can be used and developed, and that always drives the increase in the price of real estate. When I go to the East Coast and do big, training lecture series out there, the students come up and they say to me, "Boy, Tom, you're right. You could pay $40,000 for a parking stall in one of the big cities, just for the privilege of knowing that you had somewhere to park your car." Well, to me, that's a pretty good indication of the future value of real estate all over the country. So real estate always works. And, when I determined that I was going to make a change, when I determined I was going to get the kind of financial freedom that real estate really offers, I started to learn